Thank you so much. Are we having a good time, guys? Hello, at the back. Are we audible? Perfect. Perfect. Great. So before I start, I think सबसे पहले बिल्कुल सरल भाषा में समझ लेते हैं कि हम लोग करते क्या हैं. I think that will just give everyone a little bit more context. So Praveen, can we start with you? थोड़ा सा simple भाषा में what do you do? And of course everybody knows Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia is some. I think everybody knows about Wikipedia. But do you guys know about Wikimedia? I think that's what, Praveen, I think we can start with that.
Great. So I work for a non-profit called Wikimedia Foundation, and this was established by the community back in 2023, sorry, 2003. And I work as a senior partnerships manager, and I handle South Asia partnerships. My job requires me to look after the communities and provide them strategic direction in terms of where they head, how can we improve the data corpus which we have in Wikipedia. तो अगर आप विकिपीडिया इस्तेमाल करते हैं, मैं उन वॉलंटियर्स के साथ भी इंटरेक्ट करता हूँ एंड मेरी डे टू डे लाइफ में आई ऑल्सो लुक आफ्टर अपॉर्चुनिटीज जिसके थ्रू हम ये विकिमीडिया की फ्री नॉलेज मिशन को ग्रो करते हैं.
Amazing, amazing. I think that's very helpful. Deepanshu, आप अपने थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड के बारे में बताइए, आप क्या करते हैं? I think everybody knows about GATI Foundation, but what exactly does your day-to-day look like so that people have more context?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Ashish and Tekents team for inviting me here. I'm a Lucknowite. My hometown is Lucknow, but now I really get a chance to come to Lucknow. But thank you, everyone, for making time today. So right now I lead the government relations partnerships for GATI Foundation, stands for Global Access to Talent from India. The core idea behind GATI was how can we work in India to empower the blue and grey collar workers, which is very different concept if you think right now. तो सब लोग बात करते हैं IT की, IT industry, etc., AI. So right now my core focus is on how we can use AI technology and maybe support and create hundreds of urban companies in India, but for the world.
Right.
So I lead this non-profit, which was supported by Ashish Dhawan from Convergence Foundation, who's also the co-founder of Ashoka University, Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani, InfoEdge, and others as well. So yeah, that's what I do. And of course, out of interest and curiosity of my tech background, I do a little bit of research on AI. But the idea is how can we solve complex problems in a simple way for these sectors.
Perfect. So Praveen and Deepanshu are way more experienced than me, right? But I'll also quickly introduce myself. So we've built a community of 1,000+ CXOs, VCs, senior operators across startups, unicorn startups, big techs, etc. And what we're trying to solve for is helping people get access to these individuals, right? So I think access एक ऐसी चीज है जो आपको across sectors, across ecosystems उसकी जरूरत पड़ती है. And we do this by running fellowship programs, right? So places where you can actually get to learn from these individuals directly. So that's what I do. I think I'm going to jump on to the main agenda for the day. And I'm going to discuss 3-4 major themes today, right? So first theme is going to be कि AI में बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. I think AI Summit was a massive success, and I think we have worked very hard to see this day. But at the same time, when it comes to execution, right? Especially if we are talking about learning, where are we really? Right? And what can we do to make sure that the digital infrastructure that we are building is for the public good? So that's the first thing that I'll be discussing. Second theme is going to be with respect to equity or inclusiveness. कि ऊपर cities में, urban areas में, there's a lot of great things that are happening. But what is happening at the absolute grassroots level? I think the best part is that both of you have that experience of observing it very closely. So we would want to talk about that. And then थोड़ा सा बात करेंगे fear के बारे में. How many of us are here like scared that AI is going to lose our jobs? I mean, AI is going to take our jobs. I think. कितने लोग हैं? अच्छा. So many people are confident that AI cannot replace them. That's amazing. इसी भ्रम को हम तोड़ेंगे. I'm kidding. But we are going to essentially address what's happening and what is in it for students today, right? And what is in it for teachers today. And then, of course, we're going to also do some rapid fires. We're going to have some fun. So, पहले क्वेश्चन से शुरू करते हैं. AI for public good learning में awareness is there. People know what AI is. I think this is what we were also discussing, at backstage. कि people know what AI is, but they don't know how to use AI for their own growth, right? So execution level pe where are we at, and how can we ensure that we are moving in the right direction? I know it's a broader theme, but would love to hear your thoughts on this to start with, Praveen, and then Deepanshu.
I think it's a fundamental question. I'll be using switching between Hindi and English. I believe now, it's a time for us to also see it. More opportunities in AI. We have been talking largely about English wala model of AI. So, in current scenario, I believe everybody is seeing AI as a disruptive technology or technology which is for public good, and it's of day-to-day life में use करते to help with homeworks, talking about students, to learn something new, do prepare reports, or any set of work which you basically do it through consultancy services. But then I think fundamentally now we should talk more about how we can, use this technology, हमारी current ecosystem में to help support learning. How can we use it for public good? But even to do that, largely talking about India, India में 90% से ज़्यादा लोगों की first language is not English. लोग बोलते भी नहीं हैं. And we are talking about the AI solution, which is primarily trained on English data sets.
Right. Yeah.
How can we make something which is more focused for Indian audiences so that there is a contextual relevance when you are interacting with it, right? Be it in schools, be it in education or offices. There might be scenarios where the interaction requires that contextual relevance जो कि इंडिया के लिए required है. And I think currently we are missing that particular component where we are not touching on that.
Right. So what according to you can be the next steps? Where do we get started? कहाँ से शुरू करें? The gap is very evident, right? And obviously there's lack of data, which is again something that's also very evident in Indic languages. Right. So what is
So I think what we all have to do is probably we have to be part of this entire open ecosystem. AI is as good as the data sets. I believe पहले के भी इतने sessions हुए हैं, everybody is talking about it. And data sets होना in native languages are also very important and critical for the AI models to get trained. और उससे वो feasible inputs मिले जो कि which we are expecting it to be done, right? So I believe what we have to do right now is include AI in our education system, not just in using it, but also, data feeding it. Be it, creation of data in open platforms like Wikipedia.
right?
People can come, contribute on knowledge databases, which can be used later on to build either SLMs or LLMs as well.
Deepanshu, आपके thoughts इस पे जानना चाहूँगा थोड़ा.
No, I totally agree with Praveen on this. And so I'll give you an example. I'm more of an example guy, but I'm not sure I did not mention it also because I'm also a teacher. So I used to teach for civil services. I used to mentor. I still go and train some officers in Labasna, Missouri. So even though I'm a Lucknowite, my hometown is near Ayodhya. So when I always travel there, so I always speak to people वहाँ पे जो बच्चे हैं. So सबको पता है AI chat GPT क्या है, but use करना नहीं आता, which we were talking backstage. So there's a huge difference between usefulness and usability. So they might sound similar, but they're very different. So I know AI is useful, but can I use AI for my own good is the biggest challenge right now. So that is why if you see ChatGPT, Google, etc., why they're coming investing in India, because as Praveen mentioned, we need data sets. They need Indian data for training their own AI models. So I think it's time that India should also negotiate from a position of strength कि भाई हमारे बिना इनकी companies नहीं बनेगी. So I think also that is where my next part would also come in, is where skilling etc. is required. So I think at the foundational level, it's also about awareness, but also acceptance. Ki AI is gonna benefit me, But just to answer quickly your question on the fact that when you ask the audience कि कितने लोगों को लगता है कि AI मेरी jobs ले जाएंगे, and a few people raise their hands. I think some of the jobs will get replaced, and I think Alok sir also beautifully summarized it in the morning session in the opening keynote. Is we have to also adapt ourselves. मैं मतलब कंप्यूटर इंजीनियर हूँ, मुझे भी पता है मेरी कुछ स्किल्स रिडंडेंट है. आज के टाइम पे मुझे कोई कोडिंग करने को बोलेगा तो मेरे को नहीं आती उतनी अच्छी. बट व्हाई डू आई इवन नीड दैट? I can use Claude, etc. to do that for me. I can invest my time in more creative things. So I think one of the key things that and takeaway part of that is why shouldn't we use AI to run our redundant jobs and use that free time to be more creative? वो काम करो ना जो अच्छा लगता है करने के लिए, जो पहले टाइम नहीं था जिसके लिए. So I think that's going to be the way forward.
Right. So this brings us and connects us beautifully with the next agenda of the day, which is कि grassroots level पे, where people may not even have access to devices, right? Of course, I think the Wi-Fi connectivity and internet connectivity has drastically increased, but people may not even know where to go and download or get access to products which are essentially running on AI. How do you build an inclusive education model which goes beyond what is happening today? Because also, I think one of the things that we were also discussing again backstage is that there are a lot of things that are happening in AI on a daily basis. हर रोज ही कुछ हो रहा है. And I think इतना तेजी से हो रहा है कि हम लोग ही कैच अप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि डेवलपमेंट्स किस स्पेस पे वर्क कर रहे हैं. तो लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए, because again, even if we are looking at say overhauling what we've already built or reintroducing, making massive investments into the grassroots level, how do we ensure कि 10 साल बाद ये relevant रहेगा? So again, would want to start with your thoughts.
So again, I would say, democratization of AI is very much required. And just quoting an example, my friend, loves giving examples. So let me also give you one example. Our 8 years old daughter, for her homework, if she doesn't understand anything, Papa, let me ask Google. Okay, I don't want to bother you. I have asked Google, and Google से मुझे response मिल गया. यहाँ पे I think कुछ जनता है हमारी एज ग्रुप की जो बियॉन्ड गूगल टाइम के थे, and we used to rely on notebooks, books, libraries. But as internet came, and internet was equal to English, I'm again quoting, this for our Bharat Janata to understand why, we need to move beyond English. We used to rely on internet. Still, there was a lot of effort in searching. We used to use our cognitive abilities to think, do our stuff. But with AI, it's going to be game changing. I saw my daughter once using ChatGPT. I just thought of, understanding कि वो क्या करना चाहती है. So it gave the direct answer. She stopped thinking.
Yeah.
Right? So pedagogical learning is very important, of course, with the flavor of technology. And we should focus more on how this can create a very inclusive model जहाँ पे एक बच्चा है वो 6th standard में है और वो पढ़ रहा है, and we are delivering sessions or lectures through AI model, trying to understand and cater to the need of the student. And the teacher here can focus more on what are the gaps which AI is able to identify. I can focus on that. Give the interpersonal connect and touch to the student. And by the time वो student grow करता है next class में and then next class में, the teacher would be able to curate the course better with the AI. So while we are talking about losing some of the jobs, but in the education system, we need to ensure that this is inclusive. This is part of the system where it's supporting the teachers rather than eliminating these roles. And
Right, helping. Right. So, Deepanshu, have we seen some interesting global models or some, even for that matter, some domestic models, जो आपको लगता है can be successful at scale when it comes to implementation at grassroots level?
So I'll come to the global model later because I think we are in India and we are building for India. So let me take Indian example. So I was with an academy in the founding team and we built an edtech unicorn. So I still remember the early days 2015 में जब हम start किया था हमने काम करना तो एक simple से mobile app में audio video record करना होता था and then the file used to merge. It used to be so frustrating at that time कि वो बार बार fail हो जाती थी कई बार. So I used to record the entire video again for 1 hour. So and that significantly evolved over a period of time because technology evolved हुई. So learning tools better हुए, and we measured the impact also of that in terms of the learning outcomes. Ki how a simple mobile device with a small screen and audio was giving better results, or a tool where the student can actually ask me questions during the class, and that can help in better learning outcomes. Similarly, in AI, when I see, and I'm working very closely on some of these projects, jahan pe we see that when we talk about AI tutors, right? So a lot of companies are working on agentic AI tutors. I think I think Alok sir quoted Mr. Khosla. So if you see Mr. Khosla's biggest, one of the key areas for him is AI in healthcare, AI in education, and he is very big supporter of AI tutors. So I think that's going to be the next big thing. And just to give an example, जैसे मैं एक छोटा सा example लेता हूँ, मैं अपने ऑफिस में लोगों को देखता हूँ कि एक simple email लिखने के लिए they ask ChatGPT he refined this for grammatically, etc. Blah blah blah. My point is, if the teachers can also help that for learning in the schools, कि आप यूज करो, बट उससे ये तो सीखो कि आप जो कर रहे थे उसमें गलत क्या था और चैट जीपीटी ने क्या बेटर बताया, या गूगल जेमिनी व्हाटएवर जो भी टूल आप यूज कर रहे हो. आई थिंक लर्निंग फ्रॉम द मिस्टेक्स इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And as we were talking backstage, that probably AI is my second brain, so people should not make it as a primary brain. कि completely उसी पे rely कर रहे हो, because there are also problems with it. So I think that's one of the examples, but there are a host of examples. I think it would be unfair to just give a few examples in India globally, but there are a lot of good companies doing a lot of amazing work in AI and education, trying to solve this problem, of reaching to the last mile of candidates, students across India. एक केरला का बड़ा अच्छा example है, and I think I support completely Praveen in that point, is कि Indic languages की बहुत ज़्यादा shortage है internet पे. And he was mentioning that I think probably only less than 0.01% of the data Indic languages का internet पे available है. There's a program of Kerala government called as Namat Basai. Just wanted to quote that. वो लोग क्या करते हैं केरला में, because there are a lot of tribal students. So instead of imposing English or let's say AI based language on them, they use their local folklore cultures. They use animals, उनके local जो animals हैं, उनके culture हैं, traditions हैं, and they use that for teaching, for artificial intelligence. So how do you connect that with your own culture? I think that is something that we need to explore.
Absolutely, very interesting story. I wanted to also discuss, like, moving on to the third, agenda for the day, which is fear, right? People are going to lose their jobs. We're actually seeing that, and recently we saw, Jack Dorsey announce, layoff of 50% of their workforce. I think there were ripples across the entire tech industry when that happened. Although interestingly, this is not the first time that something like this has happened. The last couple of years, there have been so many major instances. I think almost all the bank companies have seen this. तो ये तो हो रहा है, but India में we have not yet started seeing इतना बड़ा impact, right? So people are therefore, they're trying to figure out कि अब हम क्या करें. Should we start, learning prompt engineering? Should we go and, start learning how to build agentic AI models? And essentially there is no one answer to this, right? So प्रवीण, आपके हिसाब से क्या कर सकते हैं एक नॉर्मल इंसान जो कि एक आईटी जॉब में है, राइट? या फिर एक, अब हमारे इंडिया में मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ डेटा एनालिस्ट्स हैं, बीपीओ वर्कर्स हैं, राइट? देयर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर डूइंग बोथ ब्लू एंड ग्रे कॉलर. तो आपने जैसे एक चीज बहुत अच्छे से कवर की थी, आई थिंक बैक सीजन में मेंशन करना चाहूंगा यहाँ पर, आप शायद और उस पर एक्सपैंड भी कर सकते हैं, दैट सम ऑफ द रियल स्किल्स लाइक फार्मिंग और इवन प्लम्बिंग फॉर दैट मैटर, these will not be replaced by AI immediately, right? Obviously, robotics would have to also evolve, and then there needs to be integration for something like this to happen. But for people who have already done these skills, अपना यूनिवर्सिटी से कर चुके ग्रेजुएट, अब ये क्या करेंगे? Where should they go? And in terms of teachers also, when we are seeing 100% autonomous AI tutoring agents now also being there, how are we confident that AI is not going to entirely replace the teachers who are actually teaching at the grassroots level in classrooms?
I think we are creating again that bubble wo hawa jab computers aaye the, you're going to lose a lot of jobs. Of course it did, but then people were open enough to learn these skill sets. There were new opportunities. again with AI, I see there are a plethora of opportunities which is coming up. Especially, I see a lot of startups now, are trying to come up really quickly. Content creators, educators, and with the help of AI, people are able to refine the content and deliver it in the manner जो सामने वाले को समझ में आता है. So I see that. Of course, with the you know, we are we are seeing a lot of major shifts. People are getting fired from big techs. India में भी इसका impact ज़्यादा नहीं आया. It has come. Yeah, I saw the organization. I don't want the name it. But I believe, also at the same time, at least in India, there are a lot of other opportunities which is growing up. Specifically talking about AI, data need generation. A classic example I would like to take is Karya AI.
Okay.
So they are focused on rural employment, where they're even providing, the compensation is 20 times more than the minimum wage, where they're asking rural folks to donate or to give the data sets in their own native language. That means there is a huge need in Indic model, which we are now calling the multilingual model.
Very interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And it proves that these companies are ready to pay for the end of data sets.
Right.
Second, farming वाला जो example था, so जो hard skill sets है, I think somewhere down the line we are losing it. Like as an Indians, I think कितने लोग हैं यहाँ पे जो volunteer करते हैं? You love to volunteer. कौन है यहाँ पे? There are very few. I think we have lost the sense of volunteerism. We lost the sense of public good, serving for public. I believe the key skill sets lies in this. Farming करना AI replace नहीं कर सकता. AI could tell you how to do it better. But then with the help of robotics and all, which will be even more expensive in future, जब वो आएगा तब वो आएगा, and it's going to take at least 100 years, मेरे को तो लगता है, right? As per my understanding. So I think these skill sets are very, very important. We should focus more towards learning these skill sets as an add-on to what we have now.
So just a quick follow-up on this. मैं जैसे farming मुझे नहीं आती, right? And I'm sure that यहाँ पर fair small number of people might know how to do it. So should we go back to learn these skills now, right? Because जैसे आपने जो दूसरा example दिया in terms of there being a lot of value for Indic languages, I can totally see this is a massive opportunity. But again, over a period of time, I think in 2, 3, 5 years, this will disappear as an opportunity once there is enough data out there. And there are platforms where people can start inputting that data without there being a manual requirement for something like this to happen. So what happens then? Okay. What should I do?
Imagine that right now. So I just want to give you a factual data. 60% of internet is in English.
Correct. Yeah.
And 0.01% is Indic language. You at least require good 40% of data set to make a large language model, train it. And even for it to, because, as and when we are progressing, now we are seeing a lot of SLMs coming forward, which more focused area where you require more set of data sets, which is more focused, right? That shows that we have a lot of opportunity, which is not going to go away in next 5-10 years. Okay. Because 15 साल के लिए तो है ही. So I'm talking about one generation, specifically focusing on it. And if we have seen the trend, हर एक generation के साथ एक new technology evolve होती है. Be it introduction of mobile, internet, moving from normal phone to touch screen, and now AI revolution. So I believe, things and skill set will keep changing. But that doesn't mean we should stop learning, right? So I'm not saying you should go back and start learning farming. I'm saying do whatever could be an add-on to your existing skill sets.
Okay, Deepanshu, your thoughts. What can be done at scale so that people remain employed, even in the transition phase for that matter?
Okay, so let me put it this way. Just want to grab attention of the audience. How many of you actually believe in astrology? कितने लोगों का एस्ट्रोलॉजी में बिलीव है? होगा यार, ज्यादा कम अच्छे से उठा सकते हो आप लोग हाथ. कितने कम लोगों को बिलीव है? अच्छा, कितने लोगों को पैसा बनाना है? How many of you want to make money? Please be honest. It's okay. Everybody wants to make money. So I'm just gonna answer it in a twist. So if you see all the people who have made money, चाहे वो अंबानीज हो या कोई भी हो, billionaires, they've always made money on public good. If you think about it, and how does it link to astrology? अब मैं ये नहीं बताऊंगा कि मेरे planets कहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं, but मैं आपको just एक example देता हूँ. कभी किसी ने बताया था मेरे को कि I will make more money if I make money more, make more money for the people or give value to people. अगर आप देखो actually भी यही है. Even if you see Reliance or anybody for that matter, जितना आप public के लिए better करोगे उतना पैसा आप खुद कमाओगे. So even when you talk about AI, the more you democratize it and make it easier for people, the more money you will make. Or for that matter, the more valuable, respected money, everything will come to you. So on the aspect of that question, some jobs will go away, will not go away. I come to that part, and we were discussing this again backstage. I think a lot of discussion happened backstage on this already. Is when you think about right now, why suddenly there is a renewed interest in people in these kind of jobs like blue and gray collar? The reason is कि 20 साल बाद, चलो 20 साल तो बहुत लंबा टाइम है, 10-15 साल बाद ही बात आप देखोगे, AI will replace some jobs will go redundant, especially अगर यहाँ कोई consultants है, उनके जॉब तो बिल्कुल खतरे में है, ठीक है? So just giving you a heads up. But the jobs that require dexterity, हाथ पैर अगर आपको यूज करने आते हैं, ट्रस्ट मी, वो स्किल इतना इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, लाइक नर्सिंग, प्लम्बिंग, कंस्ट्रक्शन. एंड जस्ट टू गिव यू एन idea, I mean, we'll come to that question later. A nurse in Germany earns 6 lakh per month. That's a 72 lakh package, if you look at it. Of course, there's a cost involved initially, आपको spend करना पड़ता है, but and do you know how many job nurses are required in Germany right now? 50,000 a year. How many will be required by 2029? 7 lakh. How many will be required by 2047? 50 million overseas jobs. So the idea is, because there's always a question about reverse brain drain and brain drain. The idea is we should definitely keep our talent in India, but for specific job roles where, because India is the youngest if you see population in the world right now, and हमारे पास हमेशा हम बात करते रहते हैं demographic dividend. It's actually a demographic balloon जो disaster बन सकता है अगर हमने सही समय पर लोगों को skill और train नहीं किया. So the idea is keep your white collar jobs in India, people who are building these foundational models, researchers, technocrats, but people who are in the gray collar, blue collar, nurses, construction, plumber, उनके लिए अगर better opportunities है, उन्हें बाहर भेजो, because that is where they will learn. And also, and let me address this in the audience as well. हमारे यहाँ पे ना काम की dignity नहीं है इंडिया में, ठीक है? यहाँ पे जैसे मैं अगर किसी को पहले बताता था मैं टीचर हूँ, हाँ पढ़ाते होंगे मास्टर साहब नहीं, टीचर की वैल्यू नहीं है. द हाईएस्ट पेड जॉब्स अक्रॉस द ग्लोब आर ऑफ टीचर्स, इफ यू सी दैट. सो if somebody like a nurse or a plumber goes from India to Germany, there they realize कि उनकी कितनी respect है, and they will go there, learn there, earn money, give it back to India, and they will come back after 3 years and build startups. So Kerala is already providing seed funds to people जो उनकी nurses बाहर जाती हैं 3-4 साल बाद लौट के आती हैं, उनको seed funds दे. So I think we need to really change our thinking on, and this is where also AI can help. How do you help these people mobilize it? Yeah.
Right. So I have a few rapid fire questions, and the first one is the most interesting one. UP talent versus Bihar talent. Pick one.
यूपी में बैठे हैं ना वो
इसका मतलब रियल आंसर बिहार टैलेंट है.
but रीजन इसके पीछे ये है कि दीपांशु did mention that अभी real skill set के बारे में, which is present in UP at this point.
Right.
Brains are there in probably Bihar, so I don't know what you want to go with.
Deepanshu?
Yeah, मतलब मेरे को दुविधा में मत डालो, because I work with all of these states. So मतलब देखो, if I say UP तो I'm anyway biased because I'm a Lucknowite. So मतलब थोड़ा unfair हो जाएगा, but just for the sake of it, I'll say UP. I'll tell you the reason for it. Why I did say UP is because UP के लोग सबसे ज़्यादा adaptable होते हैं, कहीं भी adjust होना. That is the reason.
So UP talent it is. Okay. Digital upskilling versus on the job training.
I would go with, I'm always in favor of on-the-job training. As much as you can learn digitally, books, papers, may you won't be able to gain the skill set, or you won't be able to see the real challenge. And learning actually happen on the job. So I would say on-the-job training.
I'll say on the job training using digital learning.
नहीं ये diplomacy हो गई.
That's a
So
good.
that's my job, right? I do diplomacy, so it's okay. But I mean, to be very honest, see, again, from the same example, that why on the job training? Because हाथ चलाना, agriculture करना तो आप सीख नहीं पाओगे. But why digital skills? Because that will help and enhance your skills. So definitely 90% on the job training, 10% digital skills. इतना तो दे सकते हो आप मेरे को.
Last question. Nurses versus IT pros, top global export of talent. पहले आप बताओ.
So there was a phase of IT global exports talent. I think the next big industry in India, and I'll say it danke ke chot pe, is going to be even bigger than IT industry is this nursing or a blue gray collar job. I'm telling you honestly, even the Prime Minister's office is very much interested in understanding this. It's a $200 billion industry, which is going to be the next big thing.
But I think IT was still bigger, no? At its peak.
So this is just the opportunity, which is the immediate one.
Okay.
So the projections that we have seen, and there's a lot of research going on right now, is that probably, and it's because of the numbers, it's just the volume game, because there are so many people in India in that profession and globally as well, that it's going to be even a bigger industry than IT industry.
Got it. What do you think?
I would, do a plus one to what Deepanshu said. I believe there's a need for skill set at a global scale.
Right.
And there were some examples like Russia, maybe recently, there was a big global, mass was sent, people to do the blue collar job. And the same is there in Middle East, Australia, and so on and so forth. It's coming up. Yes, immediately IT is moving. You're seeing a lot of opportunities, but then I think the future is skill jobs.
Perfect, guys. I think on that note, we would want to conclude the panel. Can we have a huge round of applause for Praveen and Deepanshu? Okay, they've been fabulous panelists. I personally got to learn a lot from them. मैंने आप लोगों के साथ panel करने से पहले पीछे सीख लिया था. So, so that I have more context. But yeah, thank you so much for being an amazing audience. This was a lot of fun, and thanks for having us.